laugh at that. You know, I had a coworker, one of the employees at the city, and we sat down in a private meeting between the two of us. And he said, you know, I have family like both sides of the aisle, and one side will be like, what is she like? Like, she must be terrible to work with. And he said, actually, she's like one of the nicest people I've ever worked with. And in the city, like, she's actually super nice and super fun to be with. Oh, you're tired. Yeah. You are tired.
Yeah, don't say
That's
that to
like
him.
He already does it, uses that enough.
I'm on
He's
edge
good.
3.5 and 2. How many months apart?
17.
Oh, they're almost Irish twins.
Yes, it's a challenge.
Oh my goodness. Mine were 20 months apart.
But I can tell you my parenting style is probably along the lines of your dad's.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I like it.
But those kids will listen to me 100% of the time. They will not listen to my wife at all.
Yeah, I get it.
But I'm in the military
well, you are
so
big meat, or right?
yes,
they're not going to mess with big meat, daddy.
But kind of going
100%.
back.
You mentioned it again today, so just for the sake of a good conversation and some fun, I don't think Dion understands what a boofing kit is. Can you explain that to him?
You know what you need to do so you can ruin your search history just
I know
as
what a
I have
boofing
ruined
kit is,
mine.
but I'd like to hear what it is. Yeah.
Well, a boof kit.
I've never seen the kit though. Like,
I have
heard of it.
Yes, I've been sent pictures. So, and I actually went to a Board of Health meeting where they tried to describe kind of it without telling the board members exactly what it was.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Ill Eagle Culture Brands Red Tape Talk. I'm your host, John Ostos, a.k.a. Ill Eagle CEO, and I'm here with my two counterparts, Dion, 2 Cup Larry, and Cody, Big Meat Malk. And today we have a very special guest, Michelle Turnberg, who is currently a Fargo City Commissioner, who is one of the mayoral candidates for Fargo.
Yes.
So, Michelle, welcome.
I would love to know where these nicknames came from because they're very intriguing.
Back in the day, I was at a party, and one of my friends that I grew up with, play hockey with, I was like starting to get like really muscular, and he said, "God, you're so big and meaty." So I just stuck big meat. So I just
stuck in his head, and then
stuck
that's
in
what
my
he
head.
started.
So you were like, I'm going to go with it.
I'm going to go for
that's,
it. Yeah, why not?
Okay, yeah, got it.
Since we started the pod, basically, I've always had 2 drinks whenever we come. So I had a drink already. I just drank it right before you got here, and then I have my water always. So
what was the prior drink?
It was a diet root beer.
He likes root beer.
Yeah, the zero sugar root beer. It's one of the best diet sodas you can have. No caffeine, which is awesome for a time like this, like 7 o'clock, you know.
Right.
So, I'm good. I like it.
Interesting. Do you ever throw a scoop of ice cream in there?
It doesn't taste as good because of the fake sugar mixed with the real sugar. It throws it all off. You could maybe do the fake sugar
really
ice cream.
Picky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I admire
root
that.
beer floats, baby.
Root beer floats are delicious, though.
I agree. Culver's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
I just had Culver's for the first time. It was
really?
Yeah.
I was expecting my kids with my first child, my son, it was DQ hot fudge malts all day long. And with my daughter, it was Culver's root beer floats, which are amazing.
Their root beer is delicious.
It's really good.
Their zero sugar root beer is even, I'd say it's very close to
I wasn't even aware of this zero and your health consciousness. So
it's good. It's very good.
I love it. Well, thank you for explaining your nicknames.
Yeah. So last night we had the mayoral debate.
I watched it
today.
Yep.
Oh, it is. So you're gonna have a few.
Yes.
Okay. And it's all at the Fargo Theater, I'm assuming?
No, they'll all be different venues, and some I believe are still in the works.
Okay.
Today I was notified about a potential one at KFGO Radio.
Oh, okay.
And then I believe KVLY and possibly the Flag will pair on a debate. I believe the League of Women Voters has one, and possibly even the Builder. BIA is the Builders Association, but there's several that'll be coming up, but it'll be different formats. And so, last night was a little stiff. There were a lot of rules that we went through at
Prior
the beginning,
Yep.
which didn't really follow through during the actual, but you get to live TV and stuff happens and that's okay. It was, it's kind of, you just go with it.
How did you feel it went?
What was interesting about last night, you could not bring any notes. So a lot of times it's nice to have even just some bullet points because, it can be a little, I don't want to say scary because I worked in media for a long time, but just unnerving.
You're on the spot. Yep.
Yeah. And you just want to remember the points that you want to get across because, I got in the car to drive home and I was like, immediately there were 80 things I would have said
100%,
differently.
100%.
You all know
Every
how
time.
that goes.
Every time.
But no, it was great. I mean, it was a beautiful setting. I love the Fargo Theater. It's just such a cool venue. We drew numbers for where we stand, which actually worked out really well because Dave Pepcorn is so tall and he's in the middle. And it was good. They didn't really enforce the rules as far as it was supposed to be. If you called someone out, then they would get a rebuttal.
Yeah.
So I didn't specifically call Sirleaf out, but they thought I did. I don't know. But to me, the rules made it sound like you needed to name call, like, well, Commissioner, blah, blah, blah. Or
it seemed like they were going off of more or less the topic. And if somebody had just said something about a topic, then they would pick that person and say, well, what do you think about that? So
it was kind of. And then the time constraints. We had the clock, which is really nice, which we do at commission meetings. But we'll cut the mic on speakers because you get 2.5 minutes and that's it. You get the warning ding. And then if you keep going, then the mic's cut. So people listening can't hear at home or even in the audience because if you don't have a mic, it's hard to hear. But people just kept pontificating last night and kept going, which is fine. I mean, I think overall it went well. It was interesting, an interesting crowd.
I definitely think that debates have their place into trying to convey your message, but it's really hard to get what you want, your point across in 2.5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. And totally. And it was more of a forum than a debate because you couldn't really be like, no, you just said the wrong data, which I wanted to say.
Right? Like it's an hour total.
Yeah, it was 90 minutes.
90 minutes, sorry.
Which I will tell you in heels was a long time.
Yeah, sure.
But, you want to be able to, when someone says incorrect information, to say, hold up, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
That's not how it's done. And you couldn't do that because then it would just give that person
Well, that's the
more
frustrating
time.
part about somebody that's watching it. Like when we were watching the presidential debates, we were like, well, what about this? What about that? Like, you got to keep going. And so like, that's the frustrating part for a voter is to be able to hear that whole entire message.
Yes, I agree. Excuse me, Margaret. I agree. Yeah. It would be nice to have maybe even crowd interaction. And I believe they did have questions from people when they registered, but just to be sometimes maybe in more informal setting where you can actually
100%.
discuss more.
I would love it for some, people in the crowd to be able to ask questions.
Yeah. Like genuinely, is this really from a resident or did you,
right?
Do you
real
really
questions
even know?
From real people? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
For absolutely. Sure. But that would be more like that. And that's the thing. It's like, we only get these 2-minute, snippets.
And then people feel like they have to fill up the 2 minutes with all this word salad.
Yeah.
Like you can just answer it and be done and not fill it with all of this other just word salad.
Right.
How many times can we say the word transparency? I mean, come on.
And that's why I think like long form communication like this is.
I love it because
where you
can
get
actually,
to know somebody. Being able to know somebody goes a long way, which is why Trump and JD Vance, they won because they were going on those long form podcasts and people got to know who they are, not just the little clips and whatnot.
Snippets. Yeah. And sound bites do not encapsulate who a person is. And also the media. Like I honestly, being a former media person, having independent journalists like you guys, like Nick Shirley, like people who are getting out there and digging in themselves instead of taking orders from corporations, I think is making all the difference.
Yeah.
All the difference.
Well, we used to be very, very heavily involved in paying attention to politics at the highest level. And then over the course of, I don't know, probably since a year or so, we've gotten away from that just because it's pointless. In our perspective, we can't control anything at the top. But what we can control is what happens in our own communities.
Yes.
And so that's why we want to be more involved with communities and community leaders, because they are the people that affect our everyday lives, something that we can control. We can't control gas prices or anything like that at the top, going to war, whatever it is, sending our tax dollars overseas, whatever it is, we can't control that. But what we can control is who makes decisions for our local communities.
You nailed it. Absolutely. Because change starts at the local level, right?
Yes.
And even Charlie Kirk said, change starts with you. If you want change, you have to get involved, and you can't sit on the sidelines and let other people do it and complain. Like, you need to get involved in the process. So I agree 100%.
Yeah, that was one of your answers last night when I was listening, and I was like, that is very true. Like, and it made me think about like my stance and how I have gone away like the past year from caring about politics at the highest level when it feels like it is so pointless. But then I think about raising a child that I'll have one day, or these guys as kids. It's like, we've got to watch out for our neighbors and our friends and our families that are here. And the only way to do that is to stay involved.
100%.
So
yes.
It's definitely huge. But you nailed that in one of your answers to the question.
I'm glad I nailed one of the answers.
It was
Good.
definitely, I liked it a lot for sure.
Was it when I said it's going to work, not going to fun?
I did like that too. That was good.
Yeah, right.
That hits home with most people.
Right?
You know, it is going to work.
You don't get along with everyone, but you're professional and you get the job done. And you do what needs to be done.
And it provides for you. You provide for it. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we dive too heavy into all the good talk that we want to get into, first I want to make sure that people understand that this isn't an endorsement by any means. This is us doing what the rest of the community wants to do, is kind of figure out who are these people that want to be the leadership of our communities and whatnot. And so that's why you're here to begin with. So if we could start off pretty simple and just kind of get a brief synopsis of, like, who are you when there's no cameras? Who is Michelle Turnberg outside of politics and things of that nature, and just kind of explain a little bit of what you're into and what you do.
Well, that's such an interesting question, because I think people get such, especially with social media nowadays, people have such a preconceived notion of who I am, and I'll read comments even about myself, and I'll be like, what? I mean, no, I'm not. Be like, oh, she's just the ice Barbie of Christy Nome of blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, no, I am first and foremost a mom. I've got two great kids. One just graduated from NDSU, summa cum laude. If you didn't even know till graduation day, he never bragged about it once. And my daughter will graduate in December as a nurse. I grew up in Minnesota, so I hate seeing all the politics in Minnesota and where our state is going. You guys were spuds too. Dawson, Minnesota. So it is 2.5 hours south of Fargo Moorhead. Small town, Dawson Boyd, but we have won several state championships. I will tell you that. And my dad was a football coach, Marine teacher. My mom was an RN and was the director of nurses at our long-term care facility. I'm an only child. So contrary to popular belief, I was not spoiled, but I was worked harder than most because my parents wanted to make sure that no one thought I was spoiled. So, you know, in the spring, they would hand me an ice cream bucket and say, all right, go fill it up with all the dog poop in the yard.
Yeah.
You know, don't come back till it's full, or, you know, go pull the weeds in the grove, or what. I mean, they were strict. I was a good kid because my dad was scary. And they had rules and they enforced them. And I think that's a great way to raise your kids with boundaries
Ethics.
and rules and discipline. And, you know, I think a lot of my friends were maybe a little scared of my dad, but they love him to death. And to this day, even we'll all get together and they can't wait to see him, you know, their old teacher and coach and stuff. I went to college in Concordia, graduated with a biology degree. It's kind of a long story, but I then went to Morehead State and got a mass comm degree. And I began working in the media in Fargo Morehead. Met my future husband, got married, was an anchor for about 10 years, 6 and 10 News. We got divorced eventually, but we have 2 beautiful kids that I mentioned that are doing very well in life. And but we are best friends, support each other. And that is the absolute best thing in the world you can do if you are divorced, is to be co-parents and put your kids first. And, you know, we had our troubles, and which is why we got divorced. But when you figure that out and put the kids first, it's like everything falls together. You know, I will have him over for holidays, and we're there for each other, and it takes all the pressure off the kids.
Yeah,
they don't have to be, you know, torn. Who do I spend this holiday with? Who do I, you know? So we make it work. I got out of media and went into medical sales, so I got to use both of my degrees, and I've been doing that since about 2010. It's been a while since I was on TV. And the city commission is a part-time job, if you can believe it, but it is literally like full-time and a half. I am constantly on my phone trying to call people back, answer emails, answer questions residents have, all sorts of stuff. But to your point, your question about who am I think my friends would say about me that I am very loving and kind, which I think a lot of people get a misconception. They think I'm some ball breaker that is just, you know, this mean commissioner that has, you know,
Chip.
Yeah, chip on her shoulder. She's got an attitude, or she thinks she's something else. No, I'm a caretaker. You know, I have deep love for my friends and family. I have deep faith. And that's the most important thing in my life. It's faith, family, and freedom. And that basically sums up who I am.
Awesome. So you're just like the rest of us.
Yeah. Well, if that were the case, I think we would all have a much better society.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
So you mentioned a lot about there's a lot of misconception about you. What would you say is one of the biggest misconceptions people have about you that is just in your mind, you're like, this is just one of the most untrue things. I wish I could just voice this to people right now.
Well, you know, social media, it's just changed the world, right? Thank goodness we didn't have cell phones and social media when I was growing up, because yuck, what kids have to put up with nowadays and see all of this. And I think I have really thick skin, so it doesn't bother me what people say about me. But people will, like, one person will say, Michelle Turnberg, absolutely 100% for mayor. And then the next person will do a puke emoji, or she's the worst, or she thinks she's so great.
Yeah, comments are the worst in social media.
I know.
Yeah.
I almost get like entertained by them now. Like, people think they're hurting me. You're not hurting me, whatever. But just that people have an idea and then they label you that, and then that's what they go with, and that's what they tell their circle. Right. And then, you know, and that's just not me. And if anyone who knows me would absolutely laugh at that. You know, I had a coworker, one of the employees at the city, and we sat down in a private meeting between the 2 of us, and he said, you know, I have family like both sides of the aisle, and one side will be like, what is she like? Like, she must be terrible to work with. And he said, actually, she's like one of the nicest people I've ever worked with, and in the city, like, she's actually super nice and super fun to be with. And I was like, oh, thank you. Yes, that is actually me. And, you know, and then the other side will be like, oh, she must be great. And he's like, she is great. Like, so I think if people actually took a moment to meet me, they wouldn't do a puke emoji.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a problem is we judge people by their politics. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we try to categorize people based on what side of the line they walk on or who they voted for and things like that. And I don't think that if you're doing it right, which is why I like the whole mayoral race right now, is because it's not about right or left when we're looking to find our mayor. It's about who has the best mindset for leadership in our community, who wants to take care of our city the most, who has the best ideas. And one of the things that we don't hear a lot about, and we didn't get to hear especially yesterday, is, you know, there's a lot of ideas and solutions that a lot of the candidates have, but we don't get to hear the hows. So like we get the what, but how do you plan to do these things? So that's some of the stuff I think we'd like to dive into today with you as well. So I don't know if you guys have any particular topics you want to go on into right away. We could jump into one of those.
Yes. Well, it was a heavy topic talking about downtown specifically, but the treatment center, the homeless problem. So John owns a gym, and a lot of the Fargo PD officers will work out at his gym. So we're good friends with a lot of those gentlemen.
Had a few of them on.
Deserve the utmost respect.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're great. And so one of the big, I guess we can just tackle one at a time, but talking about the homeless people. So my wife worked at Fargo Forum for a long time, and she would tell me, like, this was 10 years ago, she would tell me that she would never want to walk to her car after work because there was always like scary people outside of the Forum building. That was 10 years ago. So we're talking about it 10 years later, nothing has changed. So what can you do to actually enforce change so we're not talking about this 10 years from now again?
You know, that's funny. 10 years ago, she even had that, because I think it's gotten exponentially worse since they put the Downtown Engagement Center where it is, because that was the police headquarters.
Yeah.
So you had police, which is weird because that's a couple blocks away from the Forum building. And you had police officers at all hours of the day coming and going, police cars in and out, officers walking to lunch, to coffee, to their vehicles, coming to work, leaving work. There was always police presence downtown. And then in that place, we put the Downtown Engagement Center, which, depending on where you fall, that's also where you get needles and crack pipes and boof kits, right? So it's 2 blocks from Broadway, where people would then get their supplies, go smoke whatever they're smoking, inject, or do it in the library or in the city hall common ground next to the Forum. She probably comes across syringes.
I didn't know that program was doing that, like handing out crack pipes and needles and stuff.
7,000.
When I heard that, I'm like, I get really pissed.
No one knew.
I get really pissed.
No one
Because
knew. The city didn't know.
They tried to do all that stuff, legalize everything in Portland. Look what it turned out that.
Yeah,
it turned
we're going
that
to turn into Portland.
completely
if we
upside
continue
down.
this.
It doesn't help. All you're doing is enabling. You're not fixing the problem. You're making it worse. That's all you're doing.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
100%.
You mentioned it again today, so just for the sake of a good conversation and some fun, can you? I don't think Dion understands what a boofing kit is. Can you explain that to him?
You know what you need to do so you can ruin your search history
I
just
know
as
what a
I have
boof kit
ruined
is,
mine.
but I'd like to
You
hear
know
what it
it?
is. Yeah.
Well, a boof kit.
I've never seen the kit though. Like
I
I've just
have
heard of
I
it.
have. Yes, I've been sent pictures. So, and I actually went to a Board of Health meeting where they tried to describe kind of it without telling the board members exactly what it was. But it's taking drugs up your butt, right? So you've ruined all your veins in your arms and whatnot. They're all collapsed and
Gross.
And that's, or you don't want to smoke, and it's a quicker delivery because you have so many blood vessels there. So it's sticking drugs up your butt.
And we're providing these here in
And I had
this
people
community.
arguing with me.
Yeah.
You don't know what a boof kit is. What, like I'm uncool or something.
Yeah.
Is the kit like
Because it's
a
so
tube,
cool
though?
to know what those are.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it
It's
like
a whole kit.
Is it what's a kit? But can't you just do that? You don't need a kit for it.
I don't know, but if I think a kit provides all that's needed.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever
guessing
you
it
would
has something to do with like a syringe and maybe saline, so you can
Yeah, I
mix
think
it,
there's
reconstitute
Sanitize.
it.
Sanitizing and stuff like
look.
that.
I'm not an expert, but I'm just
I have
guessing.
pictures.
Cody said, "What is that?" And then now
I
we
have
know.
pictures.
Oh yeah, I did it. But no, I'm just kidding.
There may be lube involved
Okay.
or
Yeah.
whatever, but there's different items included in the kits.
Okay.
I believe I've posted it on my Facebook page before, so it's if you want to.
But they're handing that out at this
Yeah,
facility, which
yeah.
is downtown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Harm reduction. So that's part of public health, and their rationalization is that this is cutting down on communicable diseases. So handing out clean needles, and it's not an exchange, it's free needles because they don't bring them back because then they're afraid they're going
They
to
just toss them on the ground.
get caught for drug paraphernalia because if there's substance in the needle, so they throw them everywhere. Well, if you walk anywhere downtown, you will find a bazillion needles because they don't want to get caught with it. I just had a picture sent to me and we posted it today.
So
They're everywhere. And my friend's dog almost went and jumped on the pile. And if there's fent and all that, he's dead. I mean, he's just a little guy. So we hand him out. There's a vending machine, you don't even have to give your real name. They say that it brings people in to get them engaged and get them connected. Well, no, not if you're in the throes of addiction. No. And I don't know one single parent that I have spoken to that has lost a child to an addiction or an addict who is sober that says being around that is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
They all say, and I have some good friends that are serious recovered addicts from some serious drugs and are doing extremely well in life. And they said that is a major trigger. Like, you do not want to be around where all that is available to you. Parents will be absolutely just flabbergasted that you'd kill another child by giving, the means to do these drugs. And then you look at the cycle. So we just keep enabling, and then we offer Narcan. So you do the drugs, you overdose, you get the Narcan, come back and get them again. But then also, how do you get the money for drugs, right? So a lot of this is these poor girls are having to prostitute themselves, or men, women or men. They're prostituting themselves to get money for drugs. And you have the availability for condoms and dental dams and what else at the harm reduction center. So you give them the ability to do that, get the drugs, come back and get the paraphernalia to do them. And to me, it's just this endless cycle. And some of the horrible stories of rapes and beatings, and I have street ministers reach out to me and tell me how this is so horrible, and the women that she's counseling and what's happened to them. And my whole thing has been, we had this opioid settlement money. Why wouldn't you use that for treatment? Help people. And I get it, not everyone is ready for help, but the ones that are, help them and don't give them the means to kill themselves.
What would you say is an approach that we could take to not have to do what they're doing? And I understand where you're coming from. My dad was a heroin addict growing up my whole life in California, and he died a heroin addict. In fact, I think he died, because of the stuff that happened to his body as a result of heroin all his life. I don't know if he ever did a boof kit, but I know that he would, shoot like the bottom of his foot in between his toes, wherever, because he had basically killed all the veins in his body at some point in his life. So I never understood, supplying them. Like, I can't remember what they do for heroin when you don't have.
Is it methadone? Or
methadone. So he would go to methadone clinics all the time in between his fixes. That was how he maintained. And I know what they say about coming off of heroin, like you get really sick and all that stuff. So it just felt like as a kid watching his dad go through that his whole life, it was just such a cyclical concept cycle that I just didn't understand how it was ever going to make him better. And in fact, it never did. So I stand, probably in a different opinion than a lot of people in the community in regards to that. But I'd be really curious to kind of hear the how of how do we fix that problem, as far as.
How did you turn out the way you turned out growing up that way? And how did you become a functioning, healthy adult?
I think I'm an anomaly where I come from, and I say this all the time on the podcast. Like, I saw what was going on with my dad and my family as a reason to do better, where some people in my family saw it as an excuse to stay the same. It's all we know. It's how we grew up. You know what I mean? But for me, that same excuse was my reason for wanting more out of life and trying to achieve and do better. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just the way I've always framed things, is like I want it. At first, I tried to get my dad's acceptance by being more like him and getting into the streets and, the gang life and stuff like that. But then somewhere along the line, I had an epiphany where I was like, yeah, no, that's not it. And I didn't want to go down that path. But I don't think that's normal for everybody.
No. And you broke the cycle.
Yeah.
Like, it's so not the norm. Like, it seems like it's with abuse, it's with drugs, it's with other problems. It's cyclical and it's generational, right? And it's hard to break out of that. So you're asking me, what would I do differently?
Yeah. I guess I know that people will argue this is a solution for something. I personally don't see what the solution is in providing them with, other methods of doing drugs and providing with needles and stuff like that. It doesn't seem to resolve it. I like the idea of, let's put our money into treatment, but like you said, you're not going to get a lot of people who want to just jump into treatment because the ability's there. So I guess, what would be some of you as someone who's running for mayor, how would you approach that?
Well, and another thing that I think is, what is the right word, entertaining or just thought-provoking. I have made friends that are technically homeless. Mm-hmm. And one is a gentleman who is 10 years sober from very hard drugs and had used needles and had spent time in prison and has stories that are entertaining for days. Mm. And he thinks it's the absolute worst thing in the world. He hates the harm reduction center and the free drug paraphernalia. Yeah. And he tries, and it saddens him because he sees it killing his friends. But, if we can't just keep giving it to people, but if you offer the ability to get treatment, I just think it's such a better way to spend that money.
Sure.
You're never going to make everyone happy. My answer will never, like all your listeners will be like, yes, she's the one. She knows.
Yeah, right.
I don't know everything, but I know that just enabling and continuing the cycle is not the answer.
Right.
But if we put that money towards a positive outcome and to giving people, here's another statistic from last night that was not hit on hard enough, and another person had it all wrong. But over 80% of homeless people, and I hate to even call them homeless because people on hard times or just financially, find that, they get evicted, or we have 1,814 nonprofits in Fargo alone, specifically to help people. So there is help out there for people, and people do get help. And sometimes they just need, to get caught up a couple months to get help getting housing. But over 80% of those people who you see in a daze downtown and sleeping on the ground are addicts or mentally ill. And how do you balance a budget if you have both problems? It would have to be impossible. How would you pay rent every month if you are an addict and mentally ill? You're not getting your medication, you're doing drugs. It's just it's a horrible situation. But those people that just need a little help are getting the help. They truly are. The problem is the drugs and mental illness, and that's what we have to tackle.
Yeah.
And I think my answer to your question is, first of all, if you think that these needles people aren't using used needles, you're crazy, because my homeless friend confirmed, no, he even did an experiment, and there was plenty of people that wanted a used needle, right? People are still sharing needles. So we have not solved the communicable disease crisis. It is happening every single day.
To me, that's common sense.
It's dumb. It's just so
it really
stupid.
Is. It's common sense that would happen.
Yeah. So this is not solving the problem. But if we have the option for help, maybe one person gets help, maybe two, there's somebody that maybe is on the verge, but if you have that option, rather than just staying in the funk and that rock bottomness and despair, how much better of a feeling is that than giving people, they're going to go pass out from being high.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes let your moral code lead the way instead of, the data or your CDC survey.
What's the budget
study
for that reduction center?
Oh gosh, when it started.
When did it start?
Well, the free needle program started, I believe, 2018.
Oh, that's
and then COVID
okay.
happened, and the old police department turned into the engagement center. It was well over $500,000 a year. Then they kind of cut back the hours, and it reduced the cost a little bit, but we were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the opioid settlement only goes to the drug paraphernalia. So you have out of the general fund, so your taxpayer dollars is paying for staff, paying for the building, paying for vehicles, electricity, for outreach for all the things just to make the program happen. So yeah, maybe the needle is covered by the opioid settlement, but that settlement money is running out. So now what? You want to pay for booth kits out of your tax money?
Right.
Not me. I don't.
Yeah.
So would there be a way to, so does that treatment facility have to be downtown?
No. And there isn't one because we don't, it hasn't even, I've tried to get rid of the drug paraphernalia portion of harm reduction, and it's almost like harm enablement. But that would have to be something people won't even consider it. Like they just think that the free needles is the answer because it's stopping the spread of disease, and won't even discuss the idea of drug treatment. So it's actually the downtown center is closing any day. And then it's moving near the police department in the new, and they're now rebranding it the Resource and Recovery Center.
Okay.
So
But it's going to be essentially doing the same thing?
Yes. Yep. But just moved out of downtown.
Okay.
So where is that moving to? Is it
Right next to Bruhala?
Yep.
First, right?
Where our new convention center might be going.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and the police department is close by.
Yes. So as mayor, so I believe how many people are commissioners? 4?
There's 5 total
With the
because
mayor.
the mayor is a part of the commission.
Right.
But there are 4 commissioners.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So even as mayor, you don't get the final say, so everything still goes to a vote with the commission, right?
Yep.
So how do you look at something, say, where the people of the city want one thing, but the city itself needs something else? How do you go about handling a situation like that?
Like what, for example?
Well, let's just say, for example, what we're talking about right now. You know, it's clear that there's a big group of people in our community that are for this. They want this. Presumably, they voted for it. They've agreed that their taxes can go to this. But you see something differently. You see as the mayor that we need to do away with this and we need to stop providing needles and things of that nature. Hey, how do you make that decision of which direction to go against what, let's just say, the majority of the people want versus what you think the city itself needs?
I don't think it is at all the majority of what the people want. From everyone I talk to and reaches out to me, by far and away, the majority think this is an insane idea. Do we want to become Portland? Do we want to become little Minneapolis? Do we want to become San Francisco? Even San Francisco is backing away from their harm reduction policies because it's such a mess. But what we've been dealing with in reality is you had 2 conservatives and 3 liberals on the commission. And people can say all they want, no, I'm not a liberal, or look at the voting record. I mean, we vote, it's all on record. Go back and look at it. And I think I've brought this up 2 or 3 times to a vote, and each time it's 3-2 against. And so you know who to vote for if you want to continue it and who to vote for if you want to stop it. So that's why this election is pivotal. It is a turning point in the city of Fargo because this could change into a 4-1. It could be 4 conservatives and 1 liberal on the commission, and you would have immense change in the city. I mean, immense. It would be a big deal. If you get that 3-2 again, where nothing really ever happens, it's really frustrating because people think you're ineffectual, but in fact, it's how the commission is made up. So that's why it is so important to know who your candidates are, to know what they stand for, and to vote accordingly, and to get out and vote June 9th, because it is historically a very low voter turnout. You know, maybe we should change this election to November, but it is what it is. And right now it's June 9th.
Because people don't pay attention to local politics.
Don't.
Not at all.
And it affects so much of your life. And if you want to talk about like the tobacco ban, that's another one. Yeah. And if you're not paying attention to local politics, you should.
Yeah. First off, don't ban tobacco. I know it's flavored tobacco. I don't.
No. Oh, no.
Is it all?
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so this is an interesting point. What do you think that they want to ban?
Well, I heard
this
them
is
ask,
public
say
health.
flavored tobacco.
Which would mean what
Vapes.
in your mind?
I would assume that they're gearing towards flavored vapes.
Zins.
So, yes, they want to ban vaping because there's so many youth that are vaping and they're saying that it's such a problem. This also will encompass anyone who chews like wintergreen skull. Like I think
Copenhagen too?
every guy I dated in college chewed wintergreen skull. I swear. Yeah, wintergreen, menthol cigarettes.
Now you're talking my game now. So
menthol
those are fighting
cigarettes,
words.
any kind of wintergreen chew, big league chew. I mean, are you
No.
kidding me? Yes, the bubble gum that is so good that you would take out, and
What?
They're considering that a
That's
flavored
part of it.
tobacco.
that's part of the ordinance that they're proposing. And I was like, this is beef jerky that looks like it comes in.
The shredded beef jerky.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Coffee.
Oh,
So
that's like a pastime of being a kid.
Also,
Right.
baseball. That just is
Right.
literally
Yes.
more baseball.
bubblegum cigars. Who did not have a bubblegum
Yeah.
cigar as a kid? Like I
That's
do
interesting.
not
I
and
did
will
know
not
that was
smoke
all in there
cigars,
like
but
that.
I did
Cigs.
have some bubblegum
The
cigars.
Yeah.
cigarettes.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I mean,
those
it
are
is
so good.
it is encompassing a lot of products, which one are legal, right?
Yeah.
Two, now you're infringing upon the rights of adults.
Yeah.
Wait, so if they were they're proposing to ban within Fargo city limits?
Yeah.
See, and I think I heard on the debate stage yesterday. I can't remember who it was, but this question was posed to everyone too, and someone said they were against it because if one of the things that we're trying to focus on is small business in Fargo, we take so much away from small business
send them elsewhere.
like you're just gonna send them to the neighboring
You're going.
communities
You know
and
who's
cities
gonna
and
be
stuff,
making
and
the
then we
most money
lose
in
it.
the town.
Right.
Is Casey's on veterans.
Yeah.
Right.
West Fargo.
Because everyone, just like Minnesota, so people come to Fargo.
Yeah.
And not even to mention the amount of tax revenue
And
that we will
yes,
lose
100%.
for a city 1.3 billion in debt because you're mad at bad parenting, which is basically what this is.
Yeah.
So what if you really want to fix this, you go to the state, not the city, and you change the laws and the punishment, just like for underage drinking and providing to a minor, do it the same for tobacco.
Right.
Because you can get vapes on the internet and
Yeah.
have them delivered to your house.
Yes.
It's not hard.
This is,
Like I've seen all of it.
this is a dumb question. What is the legal age of tobacco
21.
use in North Dakota? Is 21? Okay.
No such thing as a dumb question.
Well, in Minnesota it was 18, but I was like in that range at the time, so I was confused.
And there are, this is going to affect so many small businesses, which also affects their employees who that's their living, their families. It affects our tax revenue. But my biggest thing is it's our right. It's a legal product. So what's next?
Is that being
So this
voted
is
on?
a slippery slope.
Yeah, we don't want people to have big league chew bubble
Big league
gum,
chew
but we're
bubble
gonna
gum.
give them needles and booth kits.
Thank you. Huh?
That just dawned on me. That's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep, that's public health for you.
Kids.
Yep, I know. So what's next? I mean, you look at liquor stores. So then Sunny D seltzer. Well, that's geared towards who? When did
Flavored.
you drink Sunny D?
Yeah.
I drank it in high school. You know,
Yes.
I'd go to a track meet and my mom would pack a Sunny D in my lunch bag. So
You ever make a screwdriver and take it to school though?
my dad was the athletic director. Are you kidding me? And football coach. He would have murdered me. No.
Yeah, I never did it either.
No. Oh yeah, right. You're smiling. Also, how about we just ban Mountain Dew and Twinkies because
Right.
they're bad for you.
Right.
I mean,
That I can agree.
this is a slippery slope, and
It is. I agree
It
with
is.
that. Yeah.
and it is people that are, if it's a problem, we need better parenting to be more. Are you watching what your kids are doing? And
That is 100% factual.
ugh, it
Parents-
just gets me riled up.
Yeah. And I don't know what the solution is. Hopefully my generation steps up. I think,
Finally, you said that, huh?
well, yeah, I mean, We could do better for sure. I think that we can do better.
I think so. I think you guys are lacking a little bit.
But honestly, you can blame what is it?
COVID.
Gen X.
Blame
You
Fauci.
can blame COVID.
Gen
It's
X.
Fauci.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I don't know. If my kids were that age, I don't think that I would change my parenting style.
How old are your kids?
They're very young. They're 3.5 and 2.
Oh, you're tired.
Yeah.
You are tired.
Don't say
That's
that to
like
him.
my
He already
kid.
does it, uses that enough.
I'm on
He's
edge
good.
3.5 and 2. How many
Yeah.
months apart?
17.
They're almost Irish twins.
Yes. It's a challenge.
Oh my goodness. Mine
But-
were 20 months apart.
But I can tell you my parenting style is probably along the lines of your dad's.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
I like it.
but those kids will listen to me 100% of the time. They will not listen to my wife at all.
Yeah. I get it.
But I'm in the military
you
too,
are-
so.
Big meat or
Yes.
they're not going to mess with big meat daddy.
But kind of going back
That's a
to
good name.
the
Big meat daddy.
Big Daddy. Going back to what we're talking about. So, do you think that by moving that treatment facility out of downtown, that it'll slowly start getting better for downtown? Because you know what sucks is like I love downtown. I think it's so cool. There's so much stuff to see, but we avoid it.
Yeah.
Like just
It's so
because
sad.
we feel
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
not safe enough. If I do go downtown, I made sure that I'm well protected when I go downtown.
You carry.
Yep.
Yep.
So, but it's just I don't know if I would want to bring my kids downtown, like with so many shady people down there.
And there's a lot of community events that take place downtown
And
now,
there's
especially in
some,
the summers,
great kid events too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you get more people and the bad actors, aren't there.
They disappear.
I mean, I could tell you stories from business owners that I've spent time with and what they've had to deal with. What I think is going to make a huge difference is our new police chief. It's going to make a huge difference.
That's kind of a good segue to
yeah.
what we want to
So
talk about too.
yes, it's going to help to move that. I don't think we need it. All of those nonprofits exist without the city spending the money for a building,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Having them all in one spot, is that better? Probably, but is that the city's role? Tell me how much money West Fargo is spending on their downtown engagement center and their homeless problem. 0, because Fargo pays for everything.
Yeah.
How about Moorhead? They give some money to Churches United, and that's it. We spend millions of your taxpayer money. And again, it's not homeless. It is the drug addicts and mentally ill and the bad actors downtown that are causing the problems. And believe me, I'm the liaison to the library. We have to hire security at our library where kids should be able to go and they have the greatest events and story times and just super cool events for the public. And people are sometimes afraid to go because you have these people disrupting what's going on.
I remember when I was younger, we would go to the Moorhead Library and we would stay there for hours. And I could tell you with certainty that I would not allow a kid my age that I know to go there by themselves and sit there and hang out. So I think that is crazy. Can I tell you guys a story about something crazy that happened over the weekend?
I would love it.
Downtown, and it is negative, unfortunately, but and I wish something could have come of it, but we parked to go to our coffee shop that we love going to all the time.
Better
And-
not. Okay, never mind.
Oh, what?
and I see a guy walk out of the alleyway, takes a left, walks past me, checks the handles of the cars behind me. My wife's sitting in the car. My nephew's sitting in the back seat. My wife's 7 months pregnant right now. And I said, hey, this guy just checked his handle back here. So, like, I need you to be really safe. And I also carry when I go anywhere. So I put that in reach of her. And I said, okay, now be safe and watch out. And so I go in, I get coffee. The guy came back next to the car to see if anyone was in there, made eye contact with my wife. And I was like, and then a second person came by and did the same thing. So, like, I was obviously frustrated when I got back to the car and the doors are locked. Everything was fine. They didn't touch the car. But just to know that she was put in that situation where she had to fear for my nephew, my unborn son, and herself, that it frustrated me. And that's definitely not something that I think other people should have to deal with. Especially if they're not capable of protecting themselves when no one else is around, you know.
Well, yeah, when we're carrying and other people aren't. I mean, you take guns away and only the bad guys will have guns.
Exactly.
Right? So this is what we need. You know, that needs to be looked at, and that was all recorded because we have flat cameras downtown.
That was a daytime experience.
Broad
too?
day, literally.
Daytime, and he's trying to break into cars.
Broad day. 2 people. I don't know about the other individual, but this individual literally took a left in front, and just being an aware person, he didn't even stare at me anything weird or anything like that. He just walked past, and for some reason I looked into the rearview mirror and I was like, oh, look at him. He's definitely checking cars.
Honestly, you probably should have called that in.
Couldn't find him, or else I would have probably called it in, because I was very upset afterwards, and I would have said, hey, like, just be careful around here.
Absolutely.
Like, this is North
As
Dakota.
you should have been. I can't imagine your wife's pregnant and you've got little man in the back.
Exactly. So no, I would have called it in, but I did not see where he went. She couldn't find where he went, and so it was that was that. But
I think things will improve with our new leadership. It was bad.
Yeah.
And
we've kind of talked about
we
it
have
before a few times, just with everything that's happened, you know, over the course of a few years.
Yeah, especially with the small amount of violent crimes that are happening, but they're all happening in one area, so it's kind of unfortunate. And then responses to that. So,
yeah. With that being said, moving on to the police department, how do you handle the expected growth of Fargo with our budget constraints and our police force, knowing that with growth comes with more crime? Mm-hmm. And so how would you plan on handling all of the, I mean, Pipecorn said it, our budget is, we're broke pretty much, right?
Well, here's the deal, is you have to prioritize. Now, do I want to go to Tahiti or Fiji and take a month vacation? Heck yeah. Can I? No. Wants and needs, right? So in my priority is to focus on core city services. So the city of Fargo is a business. We're basically, we're like a service provider of 140-some thousand people. And are your basic needs being met? That is number one. Safety is number one. And then you go down core city services. So water. I mean, we are fortunate enough to have water that's actually really good come out of our faucets every day. That everywhere in the world, you don't get that. Our streets are maintained. We can travel. We can get places. Our infrastructure, those core city services, not niche little special interest things. Yeah. We have suffered death by a million paper cuts. So here's an interesting fact. So we used to supply all of these special interest groups with money. So we provided about $30,000 for Juneteenth and MLK to have celebrations. Guess how much we spent on the 4th of July?
0.
Bingo.
Wow.
None.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it's to placate certain groups so they're not screaming racial bias. It's not our job to be a party planner as the city.
Sure.
So we stopped that. We don't do any of that anymore. And I'm sorry, we don't support pride parades because that's not our job. But you know what?
Well, that's also what equality looks like, right?
Here's the thing.
Not everyone else gets those.
Here's the thing. Go ahead and plan your MLK, Juneteenth, Pride, plan it, celebrate it, do it. But that's not the city's role to fund it.
Right.
So
I like that. That's fair. That's neutral ground.
Have the
by all means put your own together, but the city shouldn't fund it.
No one's saying don't do it.
Right.
But that's not the city role. It is much more important for me that those parties are protected with police than to fund the party.
Yeah. I'm glad that you put it that way, because that the way the statement started, it was going to get torn apart by people until you made that last statement, which was you should by all means have these celebrations,
Yes.
but it shouldn't be the responsibility of the
No.
city to plan and pay for that. Yeah.
No.
But yes, put them together. Do what you got to do within the communities.
We want
Get people together.
to.
Yeah.
I mean, even with these commissions, like we have so many little itty bitty boards and commissions in the city. We had the Native American Commission, the Human Rights Commission, the Arts and Arts Commission. But all of these cost the city money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Human Rights Commission, the city employee is probably the second highest paid city employee, and she's a volunteer coordinator. So people don't understand all of these commissions cost money. The Human Rights Commission has no jurisdiction, has no power to do anything, and they could be their own separate group and meet every week or every month or whatever they want to do and contact a commissioner and say, here's a concern we have. And that wouldn't cost taxpayers anything, but you could still have your group. And the Native American Commission figured it out day one. They figured it out. They were like, okay. And they're becoming independent. And I've reached out to many of them. They're organized. They know what they're doing. And anytime anyone in the city can reach out to a commissioner, if you have I get everything from parking to huge projects to, you name it. People will reach out with concerns, but you have the right to do that as a citizen. And we are here to listen to you. So reach out with those concerns. But the Human Rights Commission, as it is right now, if something comes up, that's why there are hate crime. That's why we have police. That's why we have HR. There's other authoritative bodies that handle those situations. That group doesn't have the power to do anything.
Yeah. I like that. There's this really big conversation right now around the crime rate in Fargo right now, that it's just through the roof. We're seeing, lots of big city people commuting here, setting up shop, living here. We're seeing more gang, crimes. We're seeing drugs. We're seeing all kinds of different things that we normally don't get here. Is it really that it's just up that much, or is it just more of the perception because we're more informed now in social media and things like that?
Well, if you listen to the old chief, crime is down, right?
Right.
But perception.
But people
is
do
reality.
listen to him, so that's the other part.
Perception is reality.
Yes.
So if you feel unsafe, or if you've been a victim of crime, be it property or your experience of having that guy just feeling that way, that makes you feel unsafe and feels like crime is up, right?
100%.
So I think we're on the right path, and especially with our interim chief, he has so many good ideas. He's a local guy. He's not someone coming in from somewhere else and bringing some woke ideas into our city where we want safe homes and neighborhoods, and we want our kids to be able to go to the park and ride their bike. That's what we want as parents, isn't it? Like,
Correct.
We don't want, drives me nuts. It doesn't matter what's on the logo on the side of your car, which costs money, right? We want boots on the ground. We want to feel safe, and we want to know that engines aren't freaking revving at 2 a.m, driving down 45th and 52nd. And that people are out stocking cars downtown and experiencing what you're experiencing.
In broad daylight.
Yeah.
It was crazy, honestly.
That's nuts.
It's tough the way that we live now because, I always complain about my kids. It's phones, everything, games,
How old
everything.
are your kids?
Oh, I have a wide range. So I got a 25-year-old down to an 11-year-old. So so I have a few teenagers right now too. And, I'm always like, man, back in my day, we would be outside playing all day, riding bikes, this and that. And now my kids say, yeah, but Dad, you don't even let us go anywhere. It's like, well, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it's true. I'm very hesitant to be like, yeah, jump on your bike and cruise down the street, because it's just not like that anymore. And I know some people will argue differently, but I'm from LA and San Diego. The stuff we're seeing here nowadays, in my opinion, is the stuff I try to get away from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now it's really coming here, and it's a lot more rampant than it ever had been. So
no,
it's
I
different.
agree.
It's a different community without a doubt.
But I think we've turned the corner, and it's one less thing as mayor that I will have to do is find new police leadership.
Yeah.
So one thing was like, was it the fight downtown where the chief was like, "Oh, I'm on vacation."
It was the shooting.
The
Which
shooting.
one?
The shooting at
The
District
shooting.
64
Well,
downstairs.
The fight, he was at his home in Florida. And I'd asked him then Monday, because the fight happened Friday or Saturday, and we had 10 million views on whatever TikTok or whatever platform it was on. And I asked him, have you watched this? No, I haven't had time. Well, 10 million people had time to watch it.
Whoa.
Are you kidding me?
Is this the fight where the guy beat the
meth head
officers? Okay.
The 3 officers. And I guarantee you those officers, it was because they were afraid of not being supported by upper administration. I would guarantee. That's just me saying it. Mm-hmm. But knowing how that leadership was, that they were probably hesitant to do what maybe needed to be done. We also have a lot of new officers because a lot have left. So, it's less experience.
Because of the fear of being able to do their job accordingly.
And I've heard personally that the morale in that department was pretty low.
Oh, believe me, I had everything from officers to wives. I mean, wives scared every day of their husband going to work because it was so bad and worried that they're going to come home.
So that is one thing I would disagree with. I don't remember the gentleman's name that was on the debate, but they were talking about, I believe they were talking about funding the police department. Would you fund it more to keep the city safe? And he said, we got to keep our families, build up our families or something like that, which, yes, you have to. When we talked about this on the show quite a bit, family foundation is obviously really important, but I feel like it's more generational rather than something that you can fix tomorrow.
Well, and that's on you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, is that on me as a commissioner to tell you to be a better dad?
Right.
Like,
what we said, like, keep the dads in the homes and all that stuff, like raise your kids.
Like, tell me how you
right
do
thing.
that as a mayor.
Right.
How do you enforce family dynamic?
Exactly. So hopefully, like, that message gets pushed, like, keep the dads in the home.
I think that's like
that's
a moral.
Great.
That's your moral compass.
That's great.
Right?
That's great. But that's not going to fix, safety right now.
No.
So, I would hope that the Fargo Police Department gets whatever they possibly need as far as funding.
To me, that's priority one. That's a
Their
core
training,
service.
I feel like their training needs to be stricter. Their hiring standards need to be stricter.
Yeah.
Just like military. I'm in the military. Our standards went up. Everything's getting more stricter because they want better quality. And I'm not saying anybody in the police department is not quality, but I feel like from top to bottom, it needs to be more strict. They need more training. That means that they need to get paid more. That's my opinion.
We increase pay with that safety sales tax.
Sure.
So we have increased pay. But what's sad is we had to add a tax to pay the people that risk their lives every day for us, fire and police and first responders. Yep. I don't risk my life every day.
Yep.
Do you guys in going to your job? Okay, well, or getting coffee.
Maybe Cody does.
Get coffee.
But what I'm saying is those people, I did a ride along last weekend. It's freaking scary.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're walking into. And I had my bulletproof vest on and I followed, and it was the middle of the night and it was a crazy busy weekend night, and downtown was bustling.
Yep.
Domestic violence was bustling. Drunk driving was bustling. We had a car that slammed into the underpass. Is that kind of by Chubbs when you go?
Oh yeah,
nice car, just totally. And they ran off, and so we were chasing the people because they didn't want to get caught. But you don't know what you're going to run into, and to deal with that stress every day, and that not knowing if that guy has a gun or if he's if he's all there going to do something to you. We have to take care of those first responders, and for police, fire, the job is so tough.
Yeah. How do we do that?
Well, we fund them
to
make sure everything you said, that they have the proper training. Yep. That's a priority. That's core city service. That's public safety. That's making sure your kids can go for a bike ride, that they feel safe, that you can go get your coffee. And there's people walking. Is it just police walking by? People aren't going to be trying to break into a car. you know,
Right.
when they see that, to have the presence, to have more boots on the ground. We need to hire more. And I think that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah. Not to negate what you're saying, because I believe you're accurate in saying that we need more policing. I think one of the big issues too, and this, I believe this is a result of 2020. People don't respect police like they used to. They don't fear them anymore. They understand, like you said about those cops being hesitant to respond to this dude that attacked them downtown was due to leadership. I think that's one of the big problems we have, is that cops are very hesitant now to do things, and I think primarily the criminals, they identify with that. And you know, I mean, you see more people standing off to cops, arguing with them, willing to fight them, actually fighting cops. I mean, in major cities, it goes on like crazy.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
So, I mean, and that stuff travels fast. You know, you're seeing it within our community now too. There's a big group of people who just have zero respect for police, and I think that makes it really hard. So, I don't know if I would say putting more police in place is necessarily the answer. It's part of the solution for sure. But how do we get around that stigma that's there, where people believe nothing's going to happen? There's no consequence anymore for them, because I think that's part of why a lot of police quit, you know, back in 2020 and on, was because, and we know this from firsthand experience and conversations we've had with them, is, man, we can't do anything anymore.
Well, yeah, because do you want to spend your life in prison because you did your job?
Right.
Yeah, no. We have to be, and this isn't just city. This is, you know, we don't have the jurisdiction for this, but we have to be tougher on crime. We've got to stop letting offenders off with a slap on the wrist, and they've got to have punishment and deal with breaking the law and, you know, resisting arrest.
Yeah.
Make it stick.
Does the prosecutor, I think it was brought up during the debate that there was petty crimes that were constantly being let out, like they wouldn't charge them and whatnot. Is the Fargo jail, are they always pretty full, or
No,
are we running out of space
we just
there?
had an addition.
Okay.
So there, it's much better now, but that shouldn't be the reason you arrest someone or not arrest someone, right? Like, is there room?
Yeah, right.
Nope, you're off.
Well,
today.
I know that they ran into that issue, I believe, at Cass County. They were constantly
They
full.
did for a while, but
Yeah.
but the new wing, I went through a tour there, and it's actually it's nicer than my first apartment, I can tell you that.
It's big now.
Yeah, and the way it is set up.
See, I think jail should be a lot more harsh than comfort as well, because, you know, there's people who are just like, yeah, I don't care if I get locked up.
Care.
You're like, I don't care, man. I'll 3 meals a day. Like, I got
3
nice
hots
quarter.
and a cot.
Yeah,
Especially
like,
when you
it's
go
crazy.
in and you've been in before. Like when you're a reoffender, I feel like you don't have that same fear that you had when you first went in. You know, it's different.
No,
You know,
I'm all for that. I love consequence,
Yeah.
you know, for your actions. A big part, like, this is way off topic, but you know what we see right now in North Dakota a lot is child abuse and sex abuse and things like that, which we have really
It's
light
disgusting.
punishment for it, but it's rampant. I mean, every day you see new
It should be
articles about it.
castration.
Yeah, I mean, there should be
like,
an
up it.
absolute consequence that
Yeah.
makes people fear
Yep.
getting caught or doing that ever.
I agree, 100%.
It's the craziest thing.
And here's the problem: is people need to get engaged in politics. That's your state legislators. Do you even know who your representatives are? I mean, you have to get people to run, and it's difficult because it's every 2 years you're gone for 4 months in Bismarck, and not everyone can. Number one, do a job.
Well, I've
and
looked it up
leave.
because I had thought about it.
Yeah, we're trying to push Cody to run.
You should. Yes, if you can do it. But we need people to be engaged and change laws.
Yeah.
Like, I can't change a law in the city. We can deal with ordinances and tighten those up
Yep.
and make sure there's consequences for loitering, public intoxication, urination, all the crap that just is like daily life, improvement of living type of thing. But actual consequences has to come from the state legislature and laws.
That's one thing. So we've had a couple of parents on that lost their daughter to drunk driving. She was 6. And so she's been, ever since that happened, she's been battling.
That wasn't the Grand Forks.
Grand Forks, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Justice for Katerina.
Yep.
Oh,
So that's actually their magnet right here on the wall right here.
that was terrible.
But she's been battling left and right to try to change, laws in North Dakota regarding to DUIs. Like, we have so many reoffending DUIs that just all it is a slap on the wrist. People 5 DUIs. All they got to do is pay a fine, maybe do a little community service, lose their license for 6 months, but they're back out.
Yeah. If she would have given in to what they were gonna do to her and give her and their family, I should say, he would have gotten like
no punishment.
No punishment. Honestly, he would have been on probation. Probably.
I don't understand. Yeah, how we're even speeding tickets in North Dakota. I mean, I will not speed in Minnesota because
there's a consequence.
It's like
there's a consequence.
Yeah, you know that
100%.
It's going to cost you. What is it here if you speed? It's like nothing. And then we upped the speed limit anyway. Spent millions on those new signs. Yeah. But we need tougher consequences for all those crimes, for Katerina, for anything, for speeding. Like there has to be a consequence. Right now, people just do,
we got to get back.
Shoplifting.
Idaho.
Go ahead and shoplift because you're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah. Especially when we want to support small business. It doesn't.
Exactly.
Counterproductive.
I think we need to we're North Dakotans. We need to have like really harsh punishment. Idaho just passed they have the shooting, they have the firing squad. I'm pretty sure
that's right.
They have a what?
Firing squad. I think somebody just died or somebody was just executed by firing squad the other day.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It was for child abuse stuff though, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well deserved.
Yeah, I agree with that.
When it comes to stuff like that, I would gladly vote to bring back the electric chair.
Yeah. Kids, I can't even take it.
There's a big, I don't even know if you would call it a conspiracy theory around it, but things like DUIs and child pedophilia, things of that nature, they say have a lot less harsh punishment because there's a lot of political figures and police and stuff involved in things, particularly police with like DUIs and stuff. Do you think there's any kind of truth to that we see less harsh punishment because a lot of the lawmakers tend to find themselves in the DUI situations and things like that?
Drugged through the mud I still am. So no, I had a DUI 16 years ago, and people will still
bring it up,
bringing it up like they're breaking news.
Yeah,
I left a chamber event to go home to go to bed to get, it wasn't even very late, and I got pulled over because I was a single mom and not didn't have expendable capital at the time, and my tabs were expired. And I got pulled over, and I paid the consequences. But I guarantee if you got pulled over tonight for a DUI, you wouldn't be on the front page of the paper and lead on the 6 and 10 news and then drug through the mud for the next 16 years, which I have dealt with. And I made a mistake. I don't know how many times I can.
Hey, those chamber parties, though, they're no joke.
Yeah, right?
They throw down at those chamber parties.
I don't know. That might be an exception, like for you. Maybe because of
your position.
I wasn't anything special. I wasn't on the news. I was working in the private sector. I wasn't a politician. I was a nobody. I was just a regular Joe Schmo. But it was a chance for the media to have their Inquirer moment, their TMZ, and get some traction out of my stupidity.
Yeah. It just seems that this couple is engaging in a lot of pushback from that side.
From getting for Katrina's parents are getting pushback from the state legislators to. Well, that's ridiculous.
Try to change the laws and whatnot.
Like our legislators don't want to make harsher laws.
That's what he's saying basically is like,
especially if you hurt someone,
right? And it's not only. I mean. We brought the young lady in Wapton too. She was 22 when she was hit by a drunk driver, and
he got 3 years.
They had a parole hearing, and Wapton basically said, "You let this guy out, like there's going to be trouble." And so they said no, but I think he will end up serving a total of 5 years for killing somebody.
Is that Brianna? What was her name?
I think that's right.
No, Bailey Bernstein.
Bailey, yes.
But you know, that hit Wapton pretty hard.
Heck yeah.
And
It's a small town and one of your own.
right. And then same thing though. I mean, the guy was drunk, ran her over, took off.
My God.
But he only got 5 years. And so when these two are trying to advocate for harsher laws and they're getting pushback, that pisses me off.
You need to have state legislators on and ask them that directly.
I would. I don't think they'd come on though. I really don't.
And look at their voting record.
I would love to get Mr. Wrigley on. I would love to get him on.
His ex-wife was at the debate last night.
I would love to.
A friend of mine. Yeah.
We actually went back and forth a little bit in Instagram chat over a geopolitical topic. But if you would be interested to get ever coming on, I would love it, man. I would love it.
Yeah.
But anyways, should we get back to topics here? What is going on with the Fargo Dome? Here's my opinion. We obviously have so much like budget constraints and what we want to do, what we don't want to do. But I can tell you that NDSU's student population is going down like dramatically. And I think that the only way maybe not the only way, but it seems like the tuition is like maybe hurting us a little bit. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but for us, when we move up to this next level and get all these football schools that are coming in, like I feel like if we can show the country what we have to offer as far as the school and where we play, the facilities that we have, you are going to get a lot more people coming to school here and wanting to be a part of, NDSU. That's just my opinion, but I realize that it's going to cost a lot of money to redo the dome.
Don't you think that all the national championships have helped that though?
Yeah, you would think.
It did at first, but it kind of lost its luster for just the division that we played in. I mean, we've cleaned house for the last
they're winning too much now.
Decade plus.
Like it's almost like old.
So, it's kind of lost its luster a little bit, but with us moving up into this next division, I think it's going to, show a lot of people who we are and what we're capable of. And I think a lot of people are going to get shocked by what we're able to do. But so with the dome, like, are we going to do anything with that place, or is it going to be stuck in what it is forever?
Like, what do you mean? Like tear it down and build a new thing?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what the plans were, but
do you know that I was a junior in college when Guns N' Roses was like the first
when
concert.
They toured there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yep. All my friends went. I didn't go, of course.
Sure.
But yeah, a bunch of friends went. It's old and outdated, and they are doing a bunch of renovations to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even ADA compatible. A lot of things are out of sync with what's needed for handicapped accessibility. Bathrooms are a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a city only thing. I mean, that's going to have to be NDSU.
Oh, for sure.
That's going to have to be tea makers and the state. And
how do you coordinate all that? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. That's why you have to have somebody that can work with everybody and make sure that you have communication and a mayor who is an ambassador to bring those people together. We have a new president who just started.
Yeah.
Right. At NDSU.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that would have to be a collaborative effort for sure.
You live in West Fargo, right?
I do.
So you don't have to pay for it though.
I live in West Fargo, but I work in Fargo.
Okay.
So.
You can't even vote for me.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm the only one that lives in Fargo here. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know.
Have I won you over yet?
Yeah, you're getting
there.
I did live in Fargo, and we just built a house, moved there last September. So now we're living in West Fargo, Southwest Fargo.
Lots of friends in Fargo though, so it's still good.
But I have a lot of friends that watch this. So.
Good. Well, I think you have just a lot of people that watch it in general.
Yeah.
But so would that be on your docket at all to try to figure out if we're able to facilitate?
It's kind of a new issue, right? Because we just made that change.
Right.
This year will be really interesting. I think an information gathering year and figuring out where we're at. I mean, we have games in Hawaii and Vegas, right?
Yep.
I mean, how cool if you can afford to go to Hawaii.
Well, not only that, but it's on ESPN too, or ESPN.
I mean, I'd rather go there than watch ESPN in my
Yeah.
for sure. But I'm just
needs
saying.
and wants. Back to the city, needs and wants.
Yeah, but it's gonna be on TV.
Yeah,
For
cool.
mainstream TV.
Well, and I think it's pretty cool that the games. I think people will have to stay for the whole game and not leave at halftime because you're going to win 50-0, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's exciting.
Tailgating's gonna be lit.
For the other schools, they'll be like
For us.
bringing so many people in.
I have one more comment, and then you guys can take over. So I am going on 20 years of being in the Guard.
Uh-huh.
I've been recruiting for 4 years now as a full-time recruiter for Army Guard. So I'm in all the schools from Valley City over down to Hankinson, and mainly the Fargo schools here work out of. There is a very significant difference between Fargo and West Fargo in the availability that Guard members or recruiters are able to gain access to the schools. West Fargo is wide open. They are so open to us coming in and doing presentations or just helping out with anything. We have full access to those West Fargo schools. Fargo is completely different.
Really?
Yeah. I would say the hardest one to get into right now is South. The second hardest would be North, and then Davies after that.
Do you get any reason why that is?
I didn't want to just put it out there, but I think a lot of it has to do with political.
Like what?
Like it's just they don't want anything like military members in there because it's, I don't know.
So liberal?
Yeah.
And is this today's reality or is this the former administration's?
It's today's. Yeah.
Well, we will work on that.
So the reason why I bring that up is because I also work at NDSU for the ROTC program. And the biggest frustration that I see, especially with kids today, we could be doing so much for these kids, but they have no idea. They have no idea what we have to offer. The parents are misinformed about what we are. And that is my biggest frustration because I got into this job 4 years ago and I've been very successful at it because I really am passionate about the Guard. And these guys know about that. So for us to be able to tell my story and what we have to offer and not be able to do that in certain schools, it's very frustrating because I know we can help a lot of these kids because they need it.
No, it's unacceptable.
They absolutely, it's like they need it. They need it.
Not everyone has the means for the next step. Like,
Right.
what is the next step when you graduate high school? And right now, after listening to school board candidates speak, what's available to some graduates, they're not even able to read properly. And the standards have become so disgustingly, the bar is set so low that we need that fixed immediately.
And that's one of the things we're running into is, okay, so finding the kids that need it, but also the kids that want it are not qualified because they can't pass the ASVAB.
Oh my goodness.
So, and that's another problem. It's like these kids want to join, but they can't pass the ASVAB. And what can we do to make sure that shouldn't happen? The ASVAB is the easiest test. The ASVAB is the easiest test to pass. Like it's basic algebra.
I did very well on it. So please don't do the caveat that it's very easy to pass. I thought it was I had high marks.
Yeah. When I honestly, like when I took it, I didn't try the first time and I got a 36, but I barely tried. And then I retook it and got an 85. So
wait, you went from 36 to 85?
Yeah, because I didn't try it.
What's the score you need?
A max is 99.
No, but now to get in the military, didn't you say they lowered the bar? Yeah,
31.
Holy moly!
31 is to get in.
Why don't we hire?
And they're not passing that.
Okay, so
do you think it has anything to do with the ROTC programs at the Fargo schools if they're not Army? That's a recruiting network that they created within the military
yeah,
branches.
That is something that West Fargo is looking into, is the adding an Army JROTC.
Right. Yeah. I just mean like the reason why, like, say South won't let you in because don't they have like a Marine or Air Force ROTC?
Air Force ROTC.
So maybe that's why you can't get into those schools.
Like, if they have that, maybe they're not anti-military, but they
want to recruit for the Air Force.
I'll just say that Fargo South is very, very difficult to get into to do anything.
So I will say that, school board and city are two different entities, but I have a hope, being mayor, to work more closely with those, because I think those city leaders need to get together and have conversations, because you telling me that is shocking, and I need to be able to communicate that to board members, and let's fix this problem.
Governor Armstrong is probably our biggest advocate. Like, he loves military, and why wouldn't you want North Dakota Army Air Guard to come in there and show you what we got?
100%.
We need those local
100%.
Local civilians to come in and join our ranks.
I'm actually mortified that you're getting pushback from the schools.
But there is this new program that we're coming out with. It's being headed up by a former Army Guard. It's called the Military Preparation Program. It's in its infant stages, but I'll just read. I had my boss write this up, so I'll just read it quick. Currently available through the North Dakota Center for Distance Education, designed to meet the needs of the military ready under North Dakota Secondary Education Choice Ready, and also meets criteria for the North Dakota State Scholarship. There will be 5 total classes of a half a credit each. Completing 2 credits helps them meet Choice Ready and scholarship criteria under Military Ready. The courses are designed for the students to explore all different branches, missions, and available careers in the military, along with learning additional soft skills of leadership, teamwork, communication, and ethical decision-making, as well as learning about military health and fitness. First 3 classes are live: Introduction to Military Careers, ASVAB Essentials, and Military Health and Fitness. The final 2 classes will be available this fall: Career Foundations in Military Leadership and Military Leadership Capstone. In partnership with North Dakota Guard, with recruiters serving as mentors and work-based learning opportunities with being a guest at drill and completing a capstone at Camp Grafton, additional hands-on learning being planned into courses with Skills Daily. So I'm going to take advantage of you being here. This is in an infant stage. If Fargo was able to get that a part of their CTE classes or their coursework, I think that would be the biggest thing that we could possibly do.
That should be core curriculum.
Yeah. So it's in an infant stage. Some schools out west are doing it full time now. I think Dickinson High School has this in their high school that they're teaching. But hopefully it'll make its way east. But if you could,
I'm gonna hook you up with my girl on the school board who will be all about this. And I have you spoken with Superintendent Steiner? I think he's such a huge improvement over our past leadership.
So we don't like to rock the boat.
Why?
Because
rock it, baby.
I get it, but it's we don't want to act like we're trying to like barge in and take over and do all this stuff, because we get pushback.
Yeah. I know about pushback.
My first
puke emojis.
my first. So I'm a hard charger, and when I set my sight on something, I want to go and do it, and I hate losing. I like to do really well. When I first started my first year, I was assigned at Davies, and I went in there and I was like, what can I do? What can I do? And we shelled out so much money to that school, like a lot. And I got a lot of pushback and was kind of like poor reception on some of the faculty there. And so I just.
From the faculty didn't want you there?
Some of them. A couple of them like really loved us.
Yeah. Well, I've pushed back on some and my kids went to Davies.
Yeah.
But there's been plenty of things that have happened there that I have pushed back hard on.
I'm sure. There's been some issues over there, but I got along great with a few of them over there. Okay. But that's one of the things, like, we don't want to come in like so headstrong, like, oh, I want this, I want that. No, that's not what we want. We want to be able to have the option or availability to bring in Army, bring in Air Guard, You know, we're North Dakotans.
Well, and I've just started learning about this choice ready,
Yep.
word within the school board as we've had these candidate meetings. But give kids a choice.
Yeah.
A military is a choice. And I tell you what, that can give you a really big
Boost
to starting your independent life as a young adult.
Yeah.
I mean, and it can be any kid. You can come from a wealthy family. You can come from a underprivileged family. You're the same. You go to boot camp. You're all the same.
Yep.
And you all have the same opportunities to excel or be mediocre or fail or whatnot.
Yep.
But that is an amazing opportunity. And for you to get pushback disgusts me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hook you up with at least you will have a school board contact. Are you talking to anyone on the Fargo school board?
No.
It's been very
try to
one-sided for a long time.
We play nice. That's all we can do is just show up when they ask, or if they need something. We can, softly ask for things, but it's
you can harshly ask for.
It's just frustrating because there's so many. Our team is the biggest team in the state. We have the biggest mission to complete. And it's because of our population.
Well, it's a disservice to kids if they're not getting the opportunity to learn about this.
And that's the thing.
That's what is ticking me off.
We want to be able to show that availability of what we have to offer to all the kids. And if they don't want to choose it, fine. But if they do, now they have all the information.
Oh, this is ticking me off.
They have all the information. And there's just so many options that you can choose, with the military. So, it's tough. It's tough.
No, we'll get you some conversations with school board members. This needs to be escalated because I feel like Fargo kids are at a disadvantage because they're not even learning about the availability of some options for their futures.
Yeah.
Where West Fargo kids are. And that is a whole nother topic, this West Fargo school district stuff. I think it's crazy. And you live in Fargo and your kids go to West Fargo and you buy something in Fargo and you pay for West Fargo schools. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you need to have access, and it should not be teachers with an agenda telling you that, no, you can't be here. That's sick.
Yeah.
And I come from, my dad's a Marine. My grandparents, my grandfathers were both in World War II. And right thereafter, I have a gun from a factory in Japan hanging up in our basement that my grandpa took out of a Japanese factory, war gun. And my great-grandpa was in World War I. So I come from a long line of military. Huge respect for anyone that spends time in the military protecting our freedoms, protecting our country. Same goes for law enforcement. And if you're getting denied, that is disgusting.
And let me just give an example. Like when I get in front of these kids, I ask them, what is it that we do? What does the Guard do? And I just get blank stares. I don't know. I think you pay for college. I don't know. So they have no clue. That's what frustrates me, is because they don't know what we do and what we have to offer. I had one kid, he wasn't even thinking about joining the Guard. And something I said just hit him like a 10-pound brick. He was like, I said, if not you, then who?
That's kind of like running for office. That is an amazing statement.
And
yes.
He brought his parents into my office, and I was like, what is it that I said that got you back in here? Because I was in front of this kid a lot. And then finally, when I said that, it hit him. And he's like, yeah, you said, if not you, then who? And it just kind of hit me.
Wow.
And he's like, I want to serve my country.
How powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's really cool. And you just changed someone's life.
Exactly.
And gave them.
And I'll get text messages, a few months after they get done with training. Hey, Sergeant Moak, I just wanted to say thank you so much for helping me out. Like, I've gotten so many of those, so many feel-good stories. Like, I could go on and on and on about them, but that's why I am so passionate about it.
Well, yeah.
But that's why I get so frustrated when we can't show this to these kids.
Oh, don't worry. I have a huge group text message chain that is going to get a text as soon as I leave here. And it's all people that will have power to make change. So that is disgusting. I can't imagine how much that must fill your your cup runneth over, right? Hearing from those kids and how you're helping change lives. And
Yeah.
then it's giving them, growth and a purpose,
Yep.
which is amazing. And if we're not affording kids just the option, unacceptable.
Yeah. And then these kids look up to us, as recruiters. When they enlist with us, they train with us up at the Armory until they ship out to basic training. And so we are constantly in contact with them. We go to the school, making sure that their grades are passing. Guess what? If they're not passing, who gets to talk to them? We do.
Well, and
those
some
counselors
kids
will call us.
might need that.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
everyone has
Yeah.
two parents at home that are on them and making sure that
Yep.
their grades are up or that they're doing well. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
kudos to you and doing that
Yeah.
and giving kids the opportunity to really make something of themselves and feel fulfilled.
Right. And not only that, but paying for college, like the college nowadays is super expensive.
Yeah.
And if you're able to graduate with no debt, like that's huge.
I have 2 kids, no debt,
That's awesome.
because they worked and we warned
Yeah.
them and
Yeah.
they knew. So
Anyways,
I feel a little
but
fulfilled about that too.
We're gonna have to make sure that the Guard sponsors this
I was gonna
episode,
say,
man. You
you
went
got-
to bat for them today.
That's
Yeah.
great, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our country. That's
Yeah.
that's why we're here. It's why we have the ability to have this podcast, is because of people like you that fight for our freedoms.
I've had so many experiences like in the Guard. I've been to Kosovo. I've been mobilized to DC 3 times, all over the country. And so you get those experiences you won't get anywhere else.
Wow. Well, thank you for your
That's
service.
awesome.
I always say that. And I truly, sincerely mean that. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So we'll do a couple more questions, and I'd like to do a little rapid fire
Ooh.
towards the end here with you, if you don't mind. But one thing we didn't touch on too much is small business in Fargo. I'm a small business owner. I have been over the last decade now. What would you say is one thing the city is currently doing that's hurting small business?
That's a tough one. That was one of the questions last night. And I need to get better informed on what small businesses need, what's lacking, or what the EDC is doing to help you. Like, do you have contact with economic development, or, are they helping you or is there any interaction? No, nothing.
No.
So that's a concern, because we have economic development for a reason, right?
Mm.
And what is it that you need as a small business owner? Like, what would help you from a city standpoint?
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure. That's I think it depends on the type of business you're in and how the city can kind of play a role into that. But you hear a lot about it, like in downtown, for example. They talk about it. In fact, yesterday, I think that was primarily what the discussion was just like the cost of rent downtown is huge. That seems more like a landlord issue than it does a city issue, though,
Yeah.
too. Is there something that you guys could do in that regard that puts some kind of limitations on that? I mean, if downtown is as bad as everyone's saying it is right now, and they're still charging a premium for rent down there, no small business can be down there, but the goal is to have more small business down there to bring, people to the area. I mean, it's kind of working against itself, I guess.
That's a really good question, and something certainly I can look into. I'm meeting with some developers tomorrow, and I've met with some realtors just to pick their brains and find out, like, what does it take to own a starter home now?
Right.
Like, it is insane compared to when I bought my first home. It's insane. And so, to your point, is there something we can do to make sure that these landlords are not being slumlords or monopolizing the market and keeping? I mean, if they don't have renters or leasers or occupants, they can't be making money. So you would think that they'd want to keep it at a decent price. I don't like corporations coming in buying tons of single family homes and then
Right.
we want people to be able to buy their first home and have their family, and for you to have your new baby and a home and have that as a reality, and not have, like some business coming in and buying up a block. And like, I want to make sure that people are able to buy a first time home. But that's a good question. I don't know. And
Okay.
I'm honest when I say I don't have all the answers, but I know who to ask. And I'll ask those. If you have ideas or suggestions of, as a small business owner, you know, how we could help you, or what is it at a city level we can do? I don't know if there is much. I encourage people to shop local and to,
Right.
you know, use local. It's sometimes pretty easy to sit at home and order off Amazon, but I can make an extra effort and go to my favorite gal at Centralia downtown, you know,
Yeah.
on my way home, and stop and get something and go to a small business rather than paying Jeff. But it takes a little effort sometimes. But,
Sure.
you know, it's kind of like your neighbors helping neighbors thing. You got to think about your neighborhood and not just what's easy.
Yeah.
You know, and helping one another.
Yeah.
And that goes to, you know, instead of expecting the city to have this bottomless pit of money, what can you do to help? Like, do you want me spending your charitable dollars? Probably not. You probably want to choose where your charitable dollars go. Just like, why should I be spending your charitable money from the city? That we shouldn't be doing that at all. That's why we have nonprofits. That's why we have churches. That's why we volunteer and do things that are important to us. That's why I have, you know, organizations that in my spare time and free time, and that I personally believe in, I support. And it's important that we all take the responsibility. If not you, who? Like, there's some responsibility on us to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Awesome. Dianco, do you have anything else you want to ask before we jump into a little rapid fire?
I'll just say that I love the mall, and we spend a lot of time there in the wintertime.
The mall?
Yeah.
The West Acres Mall?
I
Heck
really
yeah.
enjoy that place.
What's your favorite store?
Ooh. My favorite store. That's hard because we bounce around. Like I go get snacks at GNC.
You get snacks? Like
yeah, protein
vitamins?
bar and protein drink.
creatine?
And, yeah. And then
Big meaty daddy.
we'll go tool around Von Mar and stuff, and
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Give us a favorite,
Yeah.
dude. Stop beating around the bush. Just pick one.
okay, just
The
give me a second.
Dinosaur Land?
Roman loves that place.
Oh, I used to bring the kidlets
yeah,
there.
he loves that place, so he'll always want to go there when we're there.
What's your wife's favorite store?
Victoria's Secret.
No, that's probably yours. What's her favorite store? Guaranteed that's not her favorite store.
Lululemon,
Oh.
because we get a discount,
Oh, why?
15%.
Why do you?
Military.
Oh, nice.
Used to be 30, but they knocked it down.
Oh, dang it.
But yeah, no, I don't.
You guys aren't as cool anymore.
I really like that place. So whatever we need to do to give them what
I
they
would have
want.
liked to seen the convention center be over there. I thought
Yeah.
that would have been a nice spot and would have attracted people to utilize the mall and boost.
Oh, I take it back. Best Buy.
Oh, that's might
Best
be my
Buy.
son's.
Best Buy is my favorite.
Yeah.
Like we go in there and look at all the stuff, and yeah,
Do you like to go to Crave?
yeah, and we eat at Crave. Crave is awesome.
No,
Yep.
agreed.
Yep.
Evereve is my favorite store.
Yep. Yeah, she does.
John,
shop
you
at
got
that
one?
Too, yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
A favorite store in the mall? I don't even go to the mall, so I don't know.
It's
Shop
awesome,
local.
dude. It's awesome. It really, especially during Christmas time, it has those old Christmas feels during Christmas time.
Yeah,
And
it does
I
have
really,
nostalgia.
I really do. I really enjoy that.
Well, and it's nice when you have little kids.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because
Santa.
you can walk
Yeah.
and tire them out.
I think the
And-
only two stores that are still around.
Get an
from-
Orange Julius.
Yeah. Orange Julius, Spencer's, and Hot Topic. Those Spencer's and Hot Topic.
They've outlasted
They're
everything.
going the distance, baby.
Yeah.
They're going the distance.
Yeah.
Spencer's.
Amazon can't compete with them for some
Yeah.
reason right
The
now.
watch shop downstairs and the card shop downstairs have
Oh,
been
yeah.
around for a really
Yeah.
long
Oh, yeah,
time.
that's
Yes,
right.
I've utilized
Yeah.
both actually.
Those are good businesses.
Nice. I don't know. Is there really that many small businesses local in the mall?
The two I said.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Besides
that's
those
right.
couple, like I
No,
feel
you
like
have a
everything
good
else there
point.
is like franchise and,
Yeah.
and big corporate stuff, you know,
Yeah.
which are
Everett
also
started-
failing out of there like crazy.
Yeah.
Often, you know, we're seeing a constant cycle of businesses coming and going there in the mall, even. So it's crazy. I think the retail industry as a whole is it's not just a local issue that can be controlled. I think, like Amazon's and Sam's Clubs and Costco's are destroying the retail industry from the e-commerce and the brick and mortar perspective by a long shot. I don't think we can recover from that. I don't think there's anything we can do. In fact, it looks more like they're taking more and more control of the consumer goods.
I feel like it's coming back because
not from an owner's perspective.
So from 2020, when we would go to the mall, it was always dead. It was always dead. And now,
well, yeah, nowadays, we're coming back on everything from 2020.
But nowadays, the mall is routinely busy.
Yeah,
of people shopping there.
Do your kids like the fish?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So cute. I used to like that too.
All right, well, let's jump into some rapid fire here. I got about 4 or 5 of them here, and then you can pick one of these at the very end and defend it more if you want to.
Okay. Is this personal or city?
It's mostly city. So let's start with this. More police funding or more social programs?
Oh, no. Police.
Okay.
Social is for nonprofits.
Beautiful. Stricter downtown enforcement, yes or no?
Yes.
Raise taxes or cut services?
Cut.
Big developers or small business first?
Well, I guess it depends. I'm not big on giving out tax incentives. So what are they asking for? I'm not going to give a multi-million-dollar big business a tax incentive. If you can't afford the project on your own, I'm probably not going to approve it.
Okay. And you primarily deal in like structural and all that stuff as far as what you do right now in the commission, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And then let's see. Last one. Second chances or stricter penalties?
Stricter penalties.
Awesome. And out of all of those, any of those that you want to elaborate more on?
I've had 3 days of rapid fire questions.
Right.
I can't even remember them all. No, I think I'm pretty consistent in my messaging.
Okay.
Absolutely core services. Safety is number one. We've got to feel safe, and perception is reality. I love small businesses, and I'm guilty of the Amazon laziness as well. But I try to do that. But for us to be conscious of utilizing and hitting up our local stores and stuff, and
convenience is a killer. I think like everyone loves convenience.
Lazy.
Yeah, but as much as laziness is involved, for sure, I think convenience is a big thing. We all live really fast-paced lives, and when someone brings something to the table that makes things seem more convenient for us, like deliveries and you can order your food, you can do all these things, which I think COVID was a big culprit of implementing. But yeah, I get why people do it. As a small business owner, it's totally a struggle. I owned a supplement retail store for the last 8 years of my 10 plus years owning business here locally, and it is on a major decline. And not just
do you own it now?
Yeah.
What is it?
H&I Nutrition.
Where is that?
It's inside of my gym now. I used to have a brick and mortar over off of 45th next to Qdoba, and then we used to have a location in Bismarck as well.
And so where is your location now?
In my gym off of Main Avenue.
Off Main.
Yeah.
Oh, well, send him a boyfriend to get his supplements from you.
Yeah, it's a hard game right now, though, know. And
why not shop you than GNC?
I agree. Everyone should shop at my store.
Yeah,
for sure. But so even protein, for example, right? So Starbucks and there's another company it might be Nesquik or somebody. They're starting to do protein infused everything.
Everybody,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what they've done now, if they've gone and bought millions and millions of dollars worth of barrels of protein, which inflates the market like crazy. So now you're seeing a 5-pound jug of protein coming in at over $100 in retail. Oh yeah.
What?
And it's really hard as an independent, local business to compete with that, because the same supplements that I sell on my shelves, you're starting to see now in Costco's and in Sam's Clubs and stuff like that. And it's just how do you compete with, or on Amazon in direct to consumer? It's almost impossible to compete with that kind of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I like I said, retail, it's going to be a killer. I think we're going to see way more businesses going down in the retail side of things because of e-commerce and the big box companies.
Yeah, and some of this, I don't know if it's just the new reality and
it is.
I mean, I think of how, I mean, I don't even want to say this out loud, but I didn't have the internet in college. Like, if you had a laptop, you were rich.
Sure.
And
Sure.
really privileged. And the internet came like after I graduated from Concordia and was going back to school. It was just coming out and we were just learning about it. And you think of how your entire existence has changed since then. There was no Googling or map. I mean, you had to print out. Remember when you printed out MapQuest and it had like 6 pages?
That's how I drove here the first time I ever came here.
I mean, or your parents. I mean, I remember asking my grandpa how to get somewhere in the cities, and I had to write it all down. And
big map.
I mean, everything is so different, and our kids have no idea. Yeah, it's just crazy, but it's almost,
it's bad.
how much can you stop and how much is just the new reality of our existence.
What do they call it? The new normal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. But I appreciate you coming on. This was an awesome opportunity. I'm not going to lie. I'm shocked that you came by yourself. I expected you to, I don't know if you're going to bring Secret Service or,
staff?
like who knows staff. But it was really cool that you showed up super humble and full of humility and just were here by yourself and engaged us. This was a great opportunity for us and a fun experience. So we're appreciative of that. Yeah.
Like, I do have 2 more comments here.
Oh, yeah.
It's about the guard. They're going to have to pay us.
We had a conversation on this podcast regarding the arrest of a female from, where was she from? Tennessee?
Oh, are you talking about Angela Lips?
There you go. There you go. We had a mutual friend on.
Adam, you could.
Adam Martin. He's the CEO of F5. But he kind of like walked us through how it all transpired and what his role was in that story. Okay. I made the mistake of jumping on it right away. Like, what the fuck? Like really taken back and shocked about what happened and what transpired. And I was like, oh my God, we got to like ban AI technology because they're going to be using it to track us down, whatnot. I just jumped on it, like kind of like what people did during the whole 2020 incidents of that whole year. Okay. But after talking to a detective friend of ours, he walked me through what was actually going on. And it was
facts matter.
It was like completely what I didn't realize. And there was a lot more to the story. But is there any conversations with you guys about there potentially being a lawsuit that
well, yeah, I'll say there's so much misinformation about this case.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I mean, you get people like, you arrested an elderly grandmother in the park with her grandchildren.
Yep.
Well, first of all, she's 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
So
But she's a grandma, so she's clearly old, right?
I believe it's her boyfriend.
I'm a grandpa too.
It's her boyfriend's kids. I don't even know if she is a grandma.
Okay.
So I mean,
there's a lot.
Her boyfriend's, does that even count? So he has grandchildren and she's now part of it.
Yep.
So she's younger than me. And I don't know how much I can actually say about it because it is an ongoing investigation.
It is ongoing, yep.
She was in jail and she has quite a rap sheet.
Yep.
So there is much more to the story.
Right.
Yes.
So I would say no one is trying to be deceptive and
my
keep
question,
information.
why didn't the chief come out or the mayor and say like, hey, we have so much like going on. Just like we went viral again. We can't be going viral again for BS.
You can be thankful that we do not have to go viral again because that chief is gone.
Yes.
So we are making the right steps forward and we don't have to deal with that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, very odd that timing of a 2-week notice retirement happened.
We speculated the same thing.
We did, but it was just frustrating that we didn't hear anything after that.
And let me tell you too as well, don't believe all the BS about her being tossed off in the middle of the night and just Christmas from the jail.
Yep.
Sheriff Johnner would never let that happen.
Yep.
And I would question Adam Martin if he is being truthful or just taking credit, because I spoke with Sheriff Johnner and she was given several opportunities of transportation, of supplies,
what we're
of
hearing.
many things from the sheriff, from his mouth to
Correct.
my ear,
Yep.
and she declined
She
many
declined,
of it.
yeah.
We've
And
had
if
John
Adam
around,
Martin
too.
wants to take credit for it, I kind of call BS.
Yeah, he's not doing that at all. In fact, he's not even trying to claim that he was the only help that she had. He was just, as far as he knows, he got a call from, I don't know, her attorneys
Yeah.
to give her a hand, and he had nothing else going on, so he did. But yeah, he's never tried to make a claim like he was the
had
savior there by
options.
any means.
She was offered many
That's what we've
things.
heard now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
this is probably our first time publicly since we did that episode, by the way, kind of retracting and saying we might have got a little ahead of ourselves on that episode with
I
the way we
apologize.
framed it. Because
there
it was very
was-
much
yeah.
oh my God, this AI technology is bad. How did the police department let it go this far? Poor woman. Like, that was totally how we framed that episode. We've learned a lot more facts after the situation, that it's probably not what it seems, and that maybe she is a little bit more of the bad guy than we maybe all perceived.
I've had private conversations with attorneys, and there is quite a bit to why she was
Yeah.
a suspect or someone that is questioned, and it's quite complicated
Sure.
and quite in depth.
It
And
is.
I have been a victim of, I will call it organized crime before at random, but it's something that happens all the time in our communities, and it's just crime that is organized and methodical, and they're very good at what they do.
Sure.
So it's not the mafia, so to speak, but it is calculated. Organized crime.
Yeah.
100%.
And when it happened to me, my car was broken into, my purse was stolen, and they took my identity and my checks, and it was an organization, and they would do this to other women, and then they would take my ID, put a wig, sunglasses, use my ID to cash checks from another person that had been victimized. And this happened down in the Twin Cities. And I ended up having thousands of dollars stolen out of my checking account, which was crazy because I never have thousands of dollars in my checking account. But it was a nightmare to recoup it. I don't think there was ever prosecution, but I was working with Apple Valley Police, and they were well aware of this organized crime network, had video, and it looked like me, but it was just a wig and sunglasses and my ID stolen. And then, to go to the effort of all of your credit cards and your personal information out there, and you have to change it's a pain in the butt. So there was a reason she was in jail, a reason she was arrested, and a reason that the investigation is still going on. As far as being sued, I think people way got a tiny bit of information, jumped to huge conclusions, and the city, can you sue us? I don't even know if they have a case. You can't sue the prosecutor and the judge. They both signed off on it, and they are immune to being prosecuted. So no, there is not a $8 bazillion case for this woman that is 3 years younger than me and not a real grandmother.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
That's wild.
Fair enough.
Yes. All right.
I'm good.
Let's end it on that. Any last words? Anything you want to say to the city of Fargo, to the community, as to why you and what your intentions are if you become mayor?
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on and giving me a voice today. It was actually it was really, really fun.
Awesome.
Just to sit here and talk and not have to feel so guarded. Like last night at the debate, you only have such a small amount of time. I'm passionate. I love the city. I'm passionate about what I do. I never planned to get into politics. I'm not a lifetime politician, but I feel like I'm at the right point. So I've been in the city for 2 years. I haven't been there for 16. I haven't been in the legislature for my whole career, right? I'm fresh. I have new ideas. I have new perspectives. I'm going to get rid of the old way of doing things and bring change and do new things. So I hope you consider me for mayor. Only you can vote June 9th. The other two of you, be gone with you.
Well,
Tell somebody about
I'm a Fargo business owner. I don't have any rights
I'll give you a sign to put in front of your
in my business. Okay.
No, you can reach out to me as a commissioner anytime, and I'll listen. But you can't vote for me.
Got you.
But no, it's going to be exciting because We haven't had change in Fargo city government for a very long time. And to have the mayor and 2 commission seats and possibly 3 up for change, the entire structure of the city could change.
Wow. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting. That's why this is a pivotal turning point election, and it's so important to get out and vote.
Yeah, I'll be telling everybody.
June 9th, baby. June 9th.
Awesome. Well, again, Michelle, thank you so much for your time and giving us the opportunity to do this. Fun. We wish you the best in the race here, and we hope the outcome is everything you want it to be. Everybody else, we appreciate you checking us out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the channel. Tell your friends about us. Don't tell your friends about us. Talk good, talk bad. It doesn't really matter as long as you were talking about us. Peace.